Can you start it again?
For the fourth time, we want discovery on a case that's not going to go.
Let me choose my words. I wanted discovery on the case that was scheduled for a preliminary examination at 12 o'clock today. Well, we don't know if it'll go, because what if the complainant just so happens to walk in? Rather than waiting last hour and we keep on doing this.
Okay, please don't talk over me.
I'm not going to talk over you, Judge.
He's still talking over me.
Well, you're cutting me off.
Yeah, he's the judge.
You stop. Understood?
No, I actually don't understand that, Judge.
Why don't you come down here and I'll make it clear to you. Come down. I'll see you at 12 o'clock.
I'm not coming at 12 o'clock, Judge.
Okay. Don't come then and see what happens.
Okay, so do you want Attorney Davenport, who is the attorney on this case? Do you want to speak to him? Because if you're asking me,
why are you even talking to me if you're not on this case? I don't even want to talk to you then.
Well, you asked a question about me, Judge, so I started speaking.
You're talking to me if you're not involved in this case.
Well, I am involved. I'm co-counsel on this case, Judge, but just to be...
I want you to come down here at 12 o'clock today.
I won't be coming, but here's Attorney Davenport.
And I'll hold you in contempt of court.
And I'll go ahead and file a grievance.
Do it.
I will.
I don't appreciate any yelling. I feel like it's unprofessional. I feel like she was trying to express the fact that this...
And I asked her not to talk over me, Mr. Davenport. Just like you stopped when I started talking, I expect the same from her.
Just as this happens in other cases, we expect discovery in a timely fashion so we can represent our clients in the best way possible. So as these cases become moot points of discovery, we would like to be...
It sounds really high.
If the complaining witness does show up, we don't have to wait till the last minute. We can either hold the exam or not. We started off asking for discovery in court. We were told we have to submit a discovery order. We started submitting discovery orders. After we submitted discovery orders, we were told we have to keep in communication to remind prosecutors that we have to get our discovery as they're obligated to provide us with. After that, you told us if we were in communication, then we should file motions to compel. We keep trying to do and be proactive. And we're trying to explain this problem right now. But there's no reason
Mr. Davenport, if the witness was to show up, there's no way I would make you go forward on the case that you just received discovery on today. Period. Now, let me talk about what I don't appreciate. I don't appreciate being talked over. I don't appreciate when I'm trying to make something clear. Ms. Davenport indicates that she didn't understand. I told her to come down here. She told me what she's not going to do. I ordered her to do so. So understand that grievance process works both ways. I can file a grievance as well.
And so in this situation where she's trying to get the case dismissed before 12 o'clock because we wouldn't be holding it whether the complaining witness shows up or not, and we're trying to be efficient with our resources.
I'm not inclined to that. I'm not inclined to grant a dismissal when discovery was given to you, although it was not given to you timely. I'm not inclined to dismiss based on that.
What would be the future? What would be the remedy for future reference?
What future reference? What are you talking about?
So in any other case, in a situation where we submit a discovery order, keep in contact with the prosecutor, submit a motion to compel, and the discovery
case by case basis, sir. I can't tell you what I'm gonna do in the future.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how to comply.
I mean, so we just have to keep.
You're not gonna comply anyway, Ms. Davenport.
I'm sorry, Judge, I didn't hear you.
You told me you're not going to comply with the court's order. I ordered you to be here at 12 o'clock. You told me you're not doing it.
Judge, I can't come down there at 12 o'clock today. But when you see me on another hearing, or if you want me to come down on a different time, then we can definitely discuss it. In fact, I know that is this recorded? Because if this is recorded, then we both can use it in our grievance. But Judge, you asked me a question. I started answering. You cut me off, and then you said, when you start talking, I stop. I'm not a child. I'm not a puppet. I don't disrespect you, and I expect to be respected as well.
I expect you to respect this court.
I do respect this court, which is why when you ask a question, Judge, I stepped in to answer your questions.
I don't like being.
I don't like to talk over people either, Judge. It's just that when you ask me a question and then I'm answering it, when you're cutting me off, how do I know if I'm answering your question? When am I supposed to stop or not? If you want to speak, then I will be quiet so that you can speak. And then when you ask me a question, I'll answer your question. Oh, I'm sorry. You want to speak to Attorney Davenport?
Ultimately, Judge,
Stare
this
down,
situation,
man.
which was a similar situation as last week, and I understand it's unpredictable and we can't really determine what you'll do based off past action. But last week, when the complaining witness didn't show up and the discovery issue was moot on a different issue, I appeared in court physically. Now, that wasn't a requirement for the prosecution as they came in on Zoom, and I have no problem with that because it's an efficient use of resources. However, I don't agree that it's an efficient use of everybody's resources if we're not going to hold this exam to have us continue to come show up in person. We're doing all this back work trying to make sure we're prepared. So we prefer to appear on Zoom.
I don't have an issue with that.
Okay, thank you.
The prosecution is indicating that the witness is not going to appear.
Very well, Judge. Would you like us to appear at noon?
That's what time the exam is scheduled.
That's true.
So you don't want you to address discovery issues in advance no more?
Won't be able to tell. I gotta wait for the next case. Okay, so we will appear back on Zoom at noon for the dismissal. And I'll see you then, Judge.
A lot, Jillian.
Is there any other issues you'd like to take care of?
No.
Okay, we'll be back. Thank you.
Well, that was quite the shit show, wasn't it?
Manager?
Yes.
Good morning to you and your staff, Leslie Diallo, E52026 on behalf of Justina Shabazz, Davenport, who is to my left. Thank you, I thank you. If I may.
Yes.
So, Judge, I do understand that there was some conduct that happened in this courtroom yesterday by way of Zoom technology. I had the opportunity to view the YouTube recording. And on behalf of the Wayne County Criminal Defense Bar Association, of which Ms. Shabazz is a part of, let me extend my apologies for the behavior that was witnessed yesterday. And thank you for the grace, Judge, of letting us come forward to try to make it just a little bit better or a little bit less while not forgiving the conduct. I've had the opportunity to speak with Ms. Shabazz and several other attorneys in trying to resolve this issue, and one of them being Mr. Todd Perkins. I take no pleasure in standing here, Judge. And I think I've explained to Ms. Shabazz the error in what happened in the way things happen. So if there's an error issue that you might have with any judge or any person, you can always go and try to talk it out, as we're all human beings, right? We're just human. That's all we are. And understanding Ms. Shabazz is a younger attorney, and we are learning. But I did explain and say this is one of the reasons why they do not want us to use Zoom technology. That is going to be a poster child for why Zoom technology should not be allowed in the courtroom. I had to go testify in front of the Supreme Court or give comments on using Zoom technology. Sincerely, Judge, sincerely, I really do apologize, because this is not, for me to come down here from Ann Arbor, where I was in court, this is how important this court is to me. This is not how we treat this court. I understand we can have opposite, we may not agree on anything. We don't have to agree, right? But we're not going to be disagreeable just to be disagreeable. So we are sincerely, and she can tell you, but I just felt the need because I am the president of that organization and which Ms. Shabazz is part of. That is not, we are going to treat anybody and nothing about courtroom 234. Is this 234? 234
I love this lady.
gives anyone the right. I understand being frustrated, and she's a mother, a lot of things going on, I'm sure, right? But
The two boys in the background.
Has been counseled. She will continue to be counseled because we're really not happy. But thank you for the grace, Judge, and I will let Ms. Shabazz speak to this court. And all I can say is, sincerely, I am sorry. Because as I explained to Ms. Shabazz, yesterday, you got a dismissal. You wanted a dismissal on something dealing with discovery. That would not have been the proper remedy. So let's say we're somewhere like in Novi or Garden City or Brooks Point, right? What would have happened if that was an issue? We're going to adjourn this preliminary exam and put a witness detainer out. We are client focused and not ourselves focused. It's about the client. And I'm sure Ms. Shabazz understands that at this time. And I will let her talk to you, Judge.
Before she does, how do you follow that? I think the judge is sitting there like, yeah, I'm just going to agree with this one because she's terrifying in the best way. That lady right there is so awesome. Like, holy shit. With this young one over here, the lady that's in trouble, the one with the mask on there. Look at her body language. She's just sitting there, not even looking at the judge. She's got enough cheek for another arse. And her boss, you can tell. This is her boss cooled down in court. She would have torn her a new arsehole inside in their office. I can imagine. Oh my God, I love this woman. She's awesome. Awesome.
Thank you.
I didn't really understand what you're saying.
Can you hear me good? Can you hear me?
Barely.
You want to blow my nose? Can you hear me good?
Yes.
Just want to offer an apology to the court for any disrespect that the court may have received, especially yourself as a judge. I meant no disrespect, and so I do want to offer an apology.
What an arrogant little shit she is. I'm sorry now, man. The boss is coming in hot here from behind. If she doesn't clip her around the ear, I don't know who will. I want to say sorry. It's like when you get caught for something as a kid and you're like, say sorry, like, sorry. That's basically what she just did. Like, she wouldn't even take down the mask. I get it, COVID, all that bollocks. Take down the fucking mask. There's nobody standing around you. You have bulletproof glass in front of you. What an arsehole.
So let me say this. In my 17 years on the bench, I've never been disrespected like that before, ever. Nor have I ever witnessed any disrespect like that coming from an attorney. I see stuff like that from the defendant time and time, but never from an attorney. I expect more from an attorney. The only reason that this court didn't hold you in contempt of court at that point in time, because you've appeared before this court on many occasions. I don't think you've ever had an issue. You may have had disagreements, but you've never had an issue to rise to that level. We're human, like Mr. Yalla says, and we have bad days, have good days. Some days are worse than others. That doesn't excuse your conduct. I have every right to hold you in contempt of court. And if it was not for Mr. Yalla, you would be marching back to the jail, Wayne County Jail right now for 3 days. forced to hold you in contempt of court and to report you to the State Bar of Michigan.
She could have lost
I
everything.
don't necessarily like to do that to young attorneys, particularly young Black attorneys. I like to give some deference to us because I've been where you are, but never would I ever phantom to behave in the manner that you did. It's very disappointing, it's insulting, it was embarrassing.
Yep.
Court is willing to give you a pass on this time. If this ever happens
The
again,
boss.
Ms. Diallo's not going to say, and I have the utmost respect for Ms. Diallo, for Mr. Perkins, for Mr. Clemens, for Mr. Pope, Gabby Silver, Otis Culpepper, Cornelius Pitts, and other attorneys with way lower point P numbers than you have. We've been around a long time, know the proper respect that you should show this court and any court. Your behavior was inexcusable. The more I thought about it, the angrier I got. So I encourage you to follow the lead of Ms. Diallo, who's a very fine attorney, well respected. You're going to get there one day, but you're not going to get there if you continue to behave like you did.
Her attitude still, man.
This court is not going to hold you in contempt of court. Although I find their behavior was contemptuous. I'm not going to do that this time. If it happens, if you make a mistake about it, nobody's going to say it.
Judge, and once again, thank you for the grace that you have shown. Sometimes I don't think we understand. Like you said, sometimes we have good days, sometimes we have bad days, right? And I know I'm extra. But you know I know I'm extra, right? But
I love this woman. She is, lads and lassies, is she not just awesome? I'm extra. I love her.
I always respect.
right. I mean, something like that. And we get frustrated at times. I understand, but Ms. Shabazz really is apologetic, and I'm going to try to. I'm going to continue to mentor in hopes that, and it's not hope, she'll get there. But it's just as we grow. These are growing pains, and I would have to chalk it up to being a new mother and all that other stuff. There are a lot of things that go on, but thank you. And as you see, we take this very seriously, right? Extremely seriously. Because I don't feel good about this right now. I feel a certain kind of way.
I didn't feel good about it either. And when you first reached out to me, first thing I uttered to you was talking down to me because I was going to hold her to the court. Because I cannot let that kind of behavior slide in any form of fashion from anyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are we concluded, Judge?
Yes.
Thank you. All right.
Judge, I'm sorry. Are we going to address that one issue